Guys, I'm sorry I'm late. I tried to get it out as fast as possible. We are going over the STM-9, the brand new gun that dropped in the brand new update. It's only been out for hours, and I already have for you guys a budget to meta build. So we're going over two builds. Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Exfil and Hideout. My name is Ghost. If you guys have never been here before, I'm super excited you guys are here. Today, we're going to be going over the STM-9, which is the brand new 9mm carbine that dropped this morning. Before we get into the video, I do stream on Twitch every single day, so we'll be testing out for you guys. I've already tested it out, but we're going to be testing out new weapons, new backpack, new rigs, all that stuff live on stream tomorrow morning. And the only day that I have off is today, which is Tuesday. Every other day, 6 a.m., grab some caffeine, and I hope you guys will come and have some fun in the stream, because lately, it has been cracking. Also, if you guys like the content, feel free to smash that like button. It goes a long way for the channel. And if you guys want to see more Tarkov content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There is like 93%. It's a crazy number. I appreciate all the support you guys have shown me so far, but I got something that said 93% of the people who regularly watch all of my videos aren't subbed. And I think personally, it's just one of those things you forget to do, because there's channels that I watch regularly that I'm not subbed to until I like 4th, 5th, 6th video in. I'm like, oh, dude, I should sub. I haven't even subbed yet. So anyways, make sure you guys subscribe. That way you guys can be notified when my videos go live if you hit the little bell. Either way, thank you guys so much for all the support. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video because we're doing two builds, so let's just get right into the build. So before we get into the main part of the build, obviously we start out every video with a little bit of what I think about the build. There will be timestamps for everything, so if you guys don't want to hear this part and you want to go straight to the build, down below in the description are all the timestamps. If you want to send it to a friend, there's timestamps. If you want to refer back to the video to know a couple things, we're going to be going over how the guns work in the hideout. I'm going to be going over full builds for budget and for meta, talking a little bit about why the parts we're choosing are what we're choosing, so that way you guys can learn how to build weapons instead of just relying on guides and not knowing why you're building things, and then you can build your own weapons. And then we're also going to be talking about the only two ammo that I think you should be running. I actually think you should only be running one ammo variant, but we're going to talk about two just in case you're a little bit low on the funds. The other thing that I wanted to say was that this is a semi-automatic weapon. This is not a fully auto weapon. I think a lot of people, including myself, thought this was going to be full auto. I don't know what made me think that, but when I got to it and I realized it was just basically, in my opinion, a better Saga 9, which however you pronounce it, Sega Saga, then I was kind of like, wait a minute, is this even going to be viable? Would I even use this? So obviously I tested it out in Raid. I tested it out in the hideout. I started working on all the different builds, messing with all the different parts, and trying to make the best for you guys when you want to use it. And I'm going to say, after the time that I've put into it so far, I am actually impressed with it. So the STM is actually used as a competitive 9mm carbine. So stock, which it actually says down here, it says carbine with excellent performance already out of the box, in quotations. And that's what I believe this is. This is going to be something that people use instead of a pistol, and I'll tell you why I'm going to compare it to that in a second. People are either going to be using it for very specific situations to help the kit that they've already made, or they are going to use it because they just feel like switching it up and using something different. So this is going to be at 800 RPM, the STM-9, versus the Saga 9, which is 650 RPM. So it is a significant difference. The problem is because it's still semi-automatic, it is basically dependent on how fast you can actually click your mouse. So if you have very fast fingers and you play piano, you're going to probably do really well with this weapon. If you don't, you probably won't. The other thing that you guys need to understand is because it's semi-automatic and it's a 9mm variant, 9mm is already at, I would say, a lower level than maybe like an HK or an M4. The Vector does have a very, very high, if not the highest DPS output, but when you're not using the Vector, in general, when you're comparing the 7N31 round to the top of the other rounds like 995, M61, and all these other great rounds at high RPMs, it's just not really comparable. So one thing that I want to say about what's going to happen in the comment section is I'm going to get people commenting right away, 9mm is trash. There's no use for this gun. It's absolute garbage if it's semi-automatic, because Tarkov runs on a full auto meta, especially right now that we're already halfway, or later in the wipe, I should say, not halfway. So we're later in the wipe. Where we're at right now, where Tarkov is, there's a lot of people rocking class 5 armor and higher. So Is this going to be viable? I don't know, but I want the builds there for those of you who want to use it. And the budget version is actually amazing for what you're paying. The expensive version is kind of like this long boy right here. It's kind of just like, it's like the MPX, right? Like you can kit out the MPX for like 300K, or you can run an M4, or you can run an HK, I should say, because they're same RPM. That is better for cheaper. So it's kind of just dependent on what you want to do. I am not comparing this in any way to the Vector or any other MPX or any of that stuff. I actually think at the end of the day that the MPX stock would be a better option if you wanted something like this to help complete your kit, because even though it's still kind of a pricey secondary, you're going to get that very, very fast RPM, and you're going to have the full auto option. So if you need it, it's there, which most of you are going to be using it. So if you're comfortable running a Glock as your only weapon or a secondary weapon, this is just going to be a better version of that, in my opinion. It is basically a Glock with a longer barrel and more precision, makes you probably a little bit more comfortable. Some people just aren't comfortable using pistols. So that's really what I think about it. The other thing I did, just so you guys know, is I went through every single build and I made a build for every single barrel length and handguard length. And the reason why is because you have 4 choices in total, I think. You have the barrel it comes with, and then you have 3 other barrels that you can buy with 3 other matching handguards. Some of them look a little bit shorter, but they still match basically almost the same inch mark that the barrels do. So with a small barrel and small handguard, we're looking at 76 ergo, 26 vertical recoil. With a medium barrel, medium handguard, we're looking at 71.5 ergo and 24 vertical recoil. With a medium barrel and a large handguard, or long, I should say, it's going to be 70.5 ergo and 23 vertical recoil. And with full long boy, so we're going the long barrel and the long handguard, it's going to be 66.5 ergo and 22 vertical recoil. So the vertical recoil only changes actually 4 points, from 26 with the shortest barrel and 22 with the longest barrel. So you are trying to get it down. That's really all the barrels are doing, but you're losing a good amount of ergo, because we're actually losing 10 ergo for the price of 4 vertical recoil points. So in my opinion, we found the sweet spot, and this build is going to be with the medium length barrel and the long handguard, which is going to give us 70.5 ergo and 23 vertical recoil. For price and for performance, I think this is going to be the best option. So let's get into this build, and then after that, we'll go over the budget build and we will be testing out both of them. Note that the budget build is loud and the meta build is quiet, or as quiet as suppressors are in this game. So the very first thing is going to be the STM-9, which you are going to be purchasing right now from Skier level 2, and stock it comes really good, but it's going to be 44,121 rubles, which means it is 4 times the amount. 4 times, because you can get the Saga 9 for 10,000, but it doesn't really matter because the stats are so much better stock on this weapon, and you can do a lot more with this weapon when it comes to customizing the different attachments to changing it to the stats that maybe you want for a certain situation. So the STM-9, 44,000 rubles from Skier 2, and right now on the flea market it is sitting about 65,000. So I'm sure it's going to drop, but the gun's brand new. Like I said, it's only been out for hours, so everything that is brand new is just going to be ridiculously high priced. I don't even want to tell you how much I paid for these new glasses right here. I don't even want to tell you, because you guys would just say, wow, you just wasted money. Anyways, okay, so the very first thing we're going to be going over is, you guys have seen this before, the Narrow Arms Grawl S pistol grip that we are going to be getting for 132 USD from Peacekeeper 4, and that's going to give us a plus 15 ergonomics. You guys can run the PSG if you want. This just looks better to me, and you're getting the same stats. So that's what we're going to run on this build. Also, this is max traders for this build. The other one will be a low level build. I purposely made it budget and low level, so we'll go over that after. And then after that, we are going to be going with the Strike Industries Advanced Buffer Tube, and that is going to be the black one because we can get it from Trader for 10,719 rubles from Mechanic 4. giving us -4% vertical recoil and +2 on the ergonomics. On top of that, we are going to be running what we've been running on most of our builds that are meta is going to be the MOE Carbine stock, and that's going to give us a -30% vertical recoil and +8 on the ergonomics, and that's going to be 64 USD from Peacekeeper 3. And then on top of that, we are going to be doing the Magpul rubber butt pad, and that is going to complement this stock by adding another -3% vertical recoil and another 2+ for the ergonomics, making it -33% vertical recoil and +10 on the ergonomics. You're going to be able to get this for 46 USD from Peacekeeper 3 as well. On top of that, we are going to be switching it up to something new, and we are going to be going with the Avalanche Mod 2 for the charging handle versus the Raptor, which we usually use, and it's going to give us the same ergonomics for actually cheaper. So we are going to be going with the Avalanche Mod 2 for a +3 on the ergo, and it also looks sick, and that's going to be for 67 USD from Peacekeeper 4. After that, we are going to be upgrading to the 14-inch barrel, and that is going to be 11,500 rubles from Skier 3, and that's going to give us -8% vertical recoil, and it's going to give us -15 on the ergonomics. So as you begin to upgrade this weapon, you're going to have to wait till you get to Skier 3 and 4, because you can buy the weapon at Skier 2, which is super dope for being able to buy it at a low level. I think we're going to see a lot of this in the beginning of a next wipe. As you upgrade, you need your Skier to be higher. After that, we are going to be putting on the Silencer Co. Osprey suppressor, and that is going to be 31,158 rubles from Mechanic 3. That's going to give us the -12% on the vertical recoil and -14 on the ergo. So even though we're seeing massive ergo hits on some of these parts, the ergo is just absolutely insane to begin with. That's why we're still going to be ending the gun at 70+ ergo. So we're going to grab that suppressor, and then after that, we are going to be switching to the handguard that matches, which is the 15-inch M-Lock handguard by STM. So this is going to be 17,250 rubles from Skier 4, and then it's going to be -1% on the vertical recoil, and then it's going to be +5.5 on the ergonomics. On that, we are going to be running the 4.1-inch, which we run all the time. You guys know this, the Magpul M-Lock guide. And then that guide is going to be 1,762 rubles from Mechanic 2. On that, we are going to be running pretty much, which is the meta in slot. That's going to be the Fortis Shift Tactical Grip. And that is going to be 154 USD from Peacekeeper 4. And that's going to give us a -2% vertical recoil and the +9 on the ergonomics. After that, we are going to be running instead of the M-Bus, which we usually run, we're going to be running the Chris Defiance front and rear iron sights, and they are actually cheaper for the same stats, and in my opinion, actually look better. So it's subjective. If you guys want to spend a little bit more, like minuscule amounts of money more, you guys can still stick to M-Bus if you want, but we are going to be running the Defiance. This is the rear, and then we're going to have the Defiance front. So for the Defiance front, it's 2,530 rubles from Skier 2 for the +1 ergo. And then the Defiance rear is going to be the 3,680 rubles from Skier 2 for the +1 ergo. Now, this gun, I already warned you guys, is very, very expensive, but this is if you want to run the meta version. So the meta STM-9 is going to be 70.5 ergonomics with 23 on the vertical recoil. This thing is literally an absolute laser, and I combined the USD and the rubles for you, leaving us a grand total of 181,058 rubles. So that is this build. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us into the hideout and see how this is, and then we're going to go over the budget build and take that into the hideout and see how that does. So let's go into the hideout real quick. So I almost forgot to clarify also, I am running the PK06 on this. Where is it? There it is. And I am running the D-ball on this, which I run normally. I think sights are completely subjective. Also, some of the sights have been reworked. So go check out the EOTech, the XPS3. Go check out the Burst Fastfire. Some of the other sights have been reworked, and there are more saturated dots, which look really good. But I really like the PK06, and that's what we're running. And it doesn't give us any ergo nerf. And then I also like the Steiner D-ball because I can do whatever I want. I could do regular laser, I could do IR laser, or I could do flashlight. This is just what I choose to run. If you guys want to run a cheap laser or a cheap flashlight, you can. And if you guys want to run a sight that is whatever one you like, it's better to be comfortable with the sight than it is to just run a sight because everybody else is running it or because it's the better sight. I don't really believe that's a thing. So just, I mean, there are some sites actually, okay, I take that back. There are some sites that are pretty bad, but I think that they're pretty subjective as well. So these are the ones I use. Feel free to use whatever you want. So something else that I wanted to note while I was in game is I want to show you guys while we're in here the hip fire for this because it's absolutely insane. It's a very, very precise. I was in love with the hip fire. This is ergo. Obviously, very, very snappy. Look at how quick that is. And we'll shoot it. Sounds really good. Then we're just going to go for it. So this is not moving my mouse at all for recoil control. This is literally just shooting it. Can you... Excuse me? What? Do you guys see this grouping right here? It's insane. All right, so let me show you guys the hip fire. It's not even moving. Can you guys see this right now? What? Look at that. Look at how far this is. Am I the only one that shook? What? This blew my mind when I was using this in raid. I couldn't believe it. There was a kill that I shouldn't have got that I got because of hip fire. Okay. Let's go to the next build. At the end and in the timestamps, we will have both guns side by side, and you'll be able to see the stats for both at the same time. So if you guys want to screenshot it or just go back to it, it'll be there. Next, we are moving on to the budget STM-9, which is what most of you are going to be running, and it'd be perfectly fine. Now, it is loud, but it's amazing for what you're paying. Like, I was literally shook at how this felt straight out of the box, right? So we're going to go ahead and buy the gun for $44,000, just like we did at Skier 2. The only thing we're going to be putting on is the Cobra Reflex Sight, which is the Cobra EKP. We're going to be getting that for 9,975 rubles from Proper 1. And we're only going to be taking off -2 ergo. But you guys already know what we're going to do. We're going to grab the Cobra Shade, which is also from Proper 1 for 109 rubles. It's literally like pennies. That's going to give us +3 ergo, making the sight in total 1+ ergo. After that, we are going to be running what I just talked about, which is the Chris Defiance front sight and rear sight. So both of these are going to be exactly the same, 2530 for the front at Skier 2 for the +1 ergo, and 3680 for the rear from Skier 2 for the +1 ergo. And then right after that, we are going to be running the Magpul M-Lock guide, which you guys already know, the 4.1 inch. That's going to be 1,762 rubles from Mechanic 2. And then on top of that, we are going to be putting one of our favorite budget grips, which in my opinion is the best for the price. And that's going to be the Magpul RVG grip, and the black is a little bit more expensive, so if you want to save money, you can go tan and throw off the full aesthetic. No, I'm just playing. And that's going to be 78 USD from Peacekeeper 3, which is why I was talking about you having Peacekeeper 3 at level 18 earlier, because for the low level build, a lot of people are like, it's Peacekeeper 3, I just can't get it. If you quest, Skier, Peacekeeper, and make sure you're prioritizing selling the things that you can sell back for more prices, like attachments, sites, all of those things that sell to Peacekeeper. I don't know every single one, but you're going to be able to get it at level 18. You just got to actually work for it, and you got to prioritize it. So that's going to give us the -2% on the vertical recoil and +7 on the ergonomics. That is a complete build. You're literally adding the sight. You're literally adding the iron sights, which you don't even have to add if you don't want to. So if you want to take off another 6,000, 7,000, you could do that by not adding that. And we're going to be running the Magpul foregrip. With that, that is going to leave us at 78.5 ergo, wild ergo, and still as low as 33 on the vertical recoil. And this is the price difference. We went from 181,000 rubles on the meta to 72,000, including gun cost, 72,005 rubles. I can't believe it. So let's go into the hideout and see how she does. Sounds really good. Look at this. I mean, I don't even know after using this if I could justify spending that much on the meta version. Look at this. Look how quick that is, dude. What? Whoa! Whoa. This is like when you're ADSing faster than you can even actually see where they're at. And then we have the blue laser on it. Look at this. Hip fire same. This is the budget one. This is the budget one. How sick is that? All right, lastly, before we go into the both complete builds, let's talk about what ammo you should be using. Okay, so the reason why I was saying earlier that I think you should only be using 2 rounds, 7.31 or AP63. Technically, I think you should only be using 7.31, but it is a very pricey round. So for some of you who are running it at skier level 2 out of the box, I think AP63 will be okay. I'm not even going to talk about RIP or Quake Maker or any of these rounds that are for leg meta. The reason why is because leg meta is extremely hard because you have to zero out one leg. So to get leg meta kills, you have to get the shots on the same leg, and using semi-automatic and using a 9mm is not going to be as ideal trying to hit that same leg or trying to zero out both legs for leg meta to work efficiently like it would with a Vector or an MP5 or an MPX or any of these guns where you can literally just zip the legs, or you're going to get that very, very fast DPS rounds down range into the legs if you just see it for like literally a split second. So in my opinion, Quake Maker and RIP are just not even viable for this build. Even Luger, CCI, all of that stuff. So we're going to be talking about 7.31 and AP63. All you need to know is they're both expensive unless you buy them from Trader. You can craft 7.31 and AP63 in the Hideout. And the only thing that changes, they both have 52 flesh. The only thing that changes is the pen. 7.31, I have wrecked people even as high as, and I'm thinking it's because of Vector and the DPS is just extremely high, but I've even wrecked people wearing Tactex with 7.31. But you don't essentially want a thorax if you're using 9mm anyways. So it does have even more armor damage. You're going to prioritize face. You're going to try to get those headshots, which means that AP63 will still work fine because it pens at 30, which means you're still going to be able to pen face shields. Obviously, depending on the face shield. If someone's rocking around with a Killa helmet, it's going to be a little bit different, or an Alton. But for the most part, 7.31 is going to be your go-to, and then AP63 if you absolutely need to, or if you want to top load 7.31 and bottom load AP63. That's it. Okay, so very quickly, we're going to take these into edit preset so you guys can look at them. You guys like when I take it into edit preset. So this is going to be the meta. And then we're going to show you the budget. This is the budget. So here it is. These are both of the complete builds. We have the Meta STM-9 at 70.5 ergonomics, 23 vertical recoil for 181,058 rubles, and the budget STM for 78.5 ergonomics and 33 vertical recoil at 72,005 rubles. I really hope you guys enjoy the builds. Thank you guys so much for watching another gun build. If you guys like the gun build, make sure you smash that like. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys smash the like button. It goes a long way for the channel. I truly appreciate all the support I've received up to this point. If you guys want to see more Tarkov content, subscribe to the channel, and you can always hit the bell if you never want to miss an upload. I would love to see you guys by the stream. Tomorrow, we're going to be testing out everything for the very first time, 6 a.m. every single day except for Tuesday. So grab caffeine, and I'll see you over there. We have made the Discord a one-stop shop for everything Tarkov. There is resources, a ton of people who play it, and everything that BSG says goes through the Discord. So if you want to learn more, if you want to look at the patch notes, all of that good stuff, links are in the description, but check out the Discord. I'd love to see you in there as well. I hope you guys are very blessed. I hope you have an amazing day or night, depending on where you're at in the world. I hope you enjoy this build. Give me your honest thoughts. Please refrain from saying 9mm is trash and just leaving, and actually give some honest opinions about where you think this gun sits in the current meta and in the game, period. I'd love to talk to you guys about it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Ugh.